I put it. We ain't talk about it. All right, yo, let's stay focused. We're here with a D3 baseball player. He's gonna tell y'all about his experience, everything he got going on. He's gonna say what's up to the people.
I'm Ron. I'm going to my senior year this year, and yeah, D3F.
Yeah, representing for the D3, baby.
All
right, that's right. So tell us about. Matter of fact, first things first, man. How did you end up going D3? Was that always your plan? Was that something you always wanted to do? Or just tell us how you ended up where you are.
All right, so middle school, so when I went to middle school, I started playing baseball when I was like 9, 10, and I just liked playing it. You know, I was like, all right, this is cool. I can do this. But when I got to middle school, I was like, all right, I want to do this in college. You know what I mean? Like, I really want to do this. Like, I really like this sport. I want to take this to college level. So when I got to middle school, that's what it was. That was the mindset. And then when I got to high school, it was like, all right, first freshman, it was really just freshman year. Freshman year, I was like, all right, I want to get drafted. Like, college is cool, but I want to just go to the pros. Like, I don't want to have to go to college, none of that.
That baseball money, that Shohei money.
Bro, I want all that. I want it all.
Right.
But freshman year, I didn't play varsity, so I was like, all right, I kind of skewed things a little bit. I played JV the whole year. I mean, it's not a bad thing. It was just the cards I was dealt. Like, it is what it is. I just played JV and, got better from there. But that kind of changed the mindset a little bit. I was like, all right, I'm probably not going to get drafted out of high school if I didn't play the 4 years. So I switched the mindset to go more of college route. And now sophomore year, that's what it was. I was going to college. I wanted to go to college. So, I talked to my support system and everything. We was like, all right, let's try and make this happen. So started going to more showcases and stuff like that, taking college tours, going out to see different colleges and stuff. And then that led to my junior year and senior year, or really my junior year and sophomore year. That's all it pretty much was just going out, getting my name out, sending emails to coaches, stuff like that. But my senior year, got at the school I'm at now, got at the coach. He was like, oh, yeah, man, like, we exchange and stuff like that. Went to like a recruiting thing where you had met a bunch of recruits coming, stuff like that. Went there. He was like, oh, I like you, man. Like, this is cool. Like, we can make this work. And then I went to like a night in or something like that. Where a recruit come, you have a full night with the team and everything like that. It was like it was like 5 or 6 of us, and we all went as a recruiting night. And then we had the showcase the next morning. And then a couple weeks after that, I committed to the school. So that's pretty much what that was. And that was my beginning of my senior year. And the plan was pretty much I wanted to have a set stone of where I wanted to go beginning of my senior year. So by the time this baseball season come, I still had options. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like a bad option. And I just wanted to get it done and over with. So I didn't have nothing to really worry about.
You wasn't stressed. You just was focused on baseball.
Exactly. And that was the main idea of doing it that early. So I could just focus on, my senior season. So then COVID happened. So I didn't get to have my senior season.
You graduated in 2020.
Yeah. So that happened and I was like, all right, I'm good. Because I already got where I wanted to go. Like, it's already set in stone. Like, that's what it was good.
That worked out.
Exactly. So I was like, it's just meant to be that. So that's why I ended up at school I'm at now. No real problems with it. Like, I was like, all right, it's cool. Like, I still got a school to go to. You know what I mean? At the time, since all the spring season like was canceled and everything, a lot of people didn't really get to go to college because they was banking on that senior year to really show their stuff and like other sports and stuff like that. So I was one of the few people in my senior class to actually go somewhere for my sport. So that was just like, all right, this is cool, man. Like, I was not mad about going D3 at all. Like, it's truly was just excited to still be going and have the opportunity to get to college level.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what that was.
I mean, congratulations, because only 7% of high school seniors get to go on and play college at the college level. You was one of them. And D3 is a beautiful option for a lot of people if, you're not familiar. But that's why we're doing this, so you can get familiar.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us what it was like stepping on campus. Matter of fact, I'm going to ask, it's a 2-part question. What was it like stepping on campus after being in COVID? Because you went 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you was literally home and then went right to school. Did you get to go to school?
That's where it was like weird because my school is very small. So the way we did it was we would go right back into school. Like, nothing would really much, or everybody would be able to go back on school. Back on like campus and stuff like that. You can still live in the dorms and stuff, but it was weird restrictions. Like, we had to have 2 people in the room at all times, or we couldn't have more than 3 people in a room at once, plus your roommate. So I had to live with somebody. I always had to have masks on. You had to have the door open if it was 3 people in a room. Like restrictions and stuff like that. It was just COVID stuff. You know what I mean? Living on campus with new people from all different areas and stuff like that. You had to quarantine before you got there, and then once you got there, they had like quarantine rooms set out to where if you did get COVID, you have to go there and then you get sent home. Like it was a whole bunch of stuff with like the restrictions. That sounds like a lot. It was a lot. So yeah, that was that. That was a weird freshman year. I would say that. It was college, so I didn't really, I didn't know no better. I was just like, all right, I'm still in school, so fine with me. But yeah, it was just different. Definitely different.
So on the D3 campus, going in as an athlete, what type of reception did you get? Like, I know, most, like a lot of big schools, you go on and you like a big man on campus. Yeah. Was it like that, D3?
Oh, at my school, it was, since it's so small, literally like a good portion of the people on campus are athletes. So it really wasn't like that at all. Everybody was like, all right, you probably play a sport or something like that. So that wasn't really like a thing, but
you was like everybody else pretty much.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. So baseball wise, what was it like? What was the jump from high school to college?
Definitely. There's always a story I tell like the freshmen and stuff like that, but my first game that I ever played, or like
in college.
No, not ever played. Yeah, in college.
Right.
I was in college. The first game I ever watched, because I didn't play my first game ever in college, and I was like kind of weird on that. But I'll get to that after the story. But first dude I seen, not that much. Like, he was way bigger than me. He was probably like 20 more pounds bigger than me, but like an inch or two shorter than me. Like some small little scrawny dude, right?
No, it wasn't scrawny.
He wasn't scrawny at all. Yeah. Wrong word. But small, big dude. First pitch I've ever seen from the bench. Hit it out probably like 100 off the bat, like different. I'd never seen that in high school. Nobody ever hit the ball that fast in my life. That was like crazy to see. The ball got out of the park by like home run, first pitch, got out the park in like 5 seconds. I was like, that's crazy, dog. You know what I mean? Smoked it, actually. So that was the biggest like thing to see. Was I'm playing against real grown men. Like, dog, this is not no 15-year-old. This is a 22-year-old. He's a grown man. Like, it was different. Like, you know what I mean? Like body shapes and all that. Like, people were really strong. You know what I mean? Like, I had to put on some weight before I got there. And I will touch on that because since I was in COVID, I had like 3 or 4 months before I actually got to school, I gained like 30 pounds of muscle just because preparing myself. Like, all right, I thought about it beforehand. And I was like, I knew I want to take somebody's spot. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be I got to put on some weight. So gained 30 pounds before I got to college. And even in that 30 pounds I gained, still was people bigger than me. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that 30 pounds was like.
You thought you was going in.
I thought I was going in big body stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, all right, this is it. You know what I mean? Like, ain't nobody going to be touching me now. And still then, still was people way bigger than me. Like, real grown men.
Right.
Grown men strength, all that stuff, man. So that was pretty much the biggest thing that was different on the baseball side, or like the baseball physical aspect.
Right.
But like the, skill aspect, if you go into college and somebody recruits you to go there, you're good enough to play at that level. You just gotta, the biggest thing is your own mental and how you handle like college life for the most part. Since college or baseball is a spring sport, in the fall you gotta make it to classes and stuff like that. Like some people just didn't make it into their spring semester because they failed throughout the fall semester. So that was another big thing I had to like really get through.
Right.
But yeah, those two the biggest things I really had to like. The biggest changes was just how big the people were. Like, I'm really going against grown men and I'm 18. You know what I mean? So that was baseball wise. That was the hugest thing.
Right. So everybody throwing faster, running faster, hitting harder. Balls is higher.
Yeah. Defense is better because you got better athletes at every position.
Right.
But yeah.
Good stuff. So you touched on it a little bit, but I want you to get a little more deeper into it. What was the adjustment mentally? Like playing baseball at the college level rather than, if you go into college, most high school players, you probably played all the time.
Yeah.
Like getting to college, you may not play all the time. So you step on campus and get into that, potentially that, and any other thing that's different mentally from the high school level to the college level.
Well, definitely on like baseball aspect of where you're not really playing as much. It just depends on, like your own skill level and then the depth chart and stuff like that. But that's neither here nor there. My experience was I went in, like I said, 30 pounds heavier. I'm like, all right, this is like the coach already told me, like, like you just gotta earn your spot. You know what I mean? So I'm going in, trying to earn my spot, doing whatever I gotta do. I'm thinking, all right, I got a chance to start this first game, and right when I looked at the lineup, it was not on the list. We had a doubleheader that day, so I'm thinking, all right, I ain't got the first game, but I got the second game. You know what I mean? Like I'm good enough to do it. It wasn't on the list, so I'm like, dang, that was a hard adjustment I had to see. Like it's like, all right, like I'm not gonna be playing there today. You know what I mean? Like I don't like this necessarily. I really don't.
Right.
So mentally, it was different because high school, I'm playing all the time. Like, I'm starting all the time. That's what got me to this level because they was able to see my skill level throughout many games and stuff like that. And at the time, I still do want to go to pro, but that was like my main focus. I'm like, all right, dog, I gotta get to the pro level, so I need to get games and I need to do all that stuff. So that was a real hard adjustment because it was like it wasn't a smack in the face, but it was like, oh, like that's a reality.
Yeah, it was a gut shot.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. I'm like, all right, I gotta do something differently now. I gotta put some more work and I gotta do things. You know what I mean? I gotta do things a little bit differently. So really just honing in on, all right, focusing on the work because at the end of the day, that's what's going to make you better. That's what's going to get you to where you want to get to. So I had to learn. All right, dog. Like it is what it is. I still got to put in the work. Like I might not be happy with where I'm at. I might not be happy with coach, but he gonna make the lineup at the end of the day. And am I gonna be good enough to make that lineup? Is what the real question is. So
right.
It's not. It's more of a all right. It's a question to yourself. Like what are you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? Like you can sit here and just. I'm going to be mad at the coach all the time, or you could just try and work to get better and get to that next level. So, and my experience was so different because my freshman year, it was 60 kids on the team. So, yeah, it wasn't like a small little, it was a real depth chart. Like, it was like football depth chart. You know what I mean? I had to go through like 4 or 5 people just to get to the starting position or even to have a chance to get to the starting position. So, that was definitely a reality check because I'm going against 5 different dudes that's all around the same skill level that's, you know what I mean, doing the small things a little, you know what I mean? Everybody, it's 5 different dudes I got to go work against and be better than. So that's a challenge right there. You got to mentally be like, all right, I got to lock in. Like, I got to be better than them. It's not like I could just, we could be, like, don't get me wrong. I'm still cool with all those people, but when it comes time to get on the field, I'm trying to take your spot. And you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But that was definitely a hard challenge I had to really work through because I had to work through getting past 5 different people to get to a spot that I want to get into. So, yeah, that was different.
Right. All right, so the speed of the game, what's the difference high school-wise and college-wise?
Definitely, like I talked on before, the grown men playing sport that you were not used to. Like, you know what I mean? People going, like I said, I was 30 pounds heavier than I was. Meaning when I was in high school, I was 30 pounds less and I was going against people that was like around that 30 pounds less range. So pretty much I'm facing people that's 60 pounds heavier than everybody else that I played against. So that's still the same speed, faster and all that, stronger and all that. But definitely the defense is the biggest thing. That's the game-changing thing that's different between high school and college because everybody can play a position really well. You know what I mean? Like everybody got a good amount of range, like even big dudes. I remember the first game I started, but one of the games I started, it was a big third baseman. I tried to put a bunt down, but it went foul. And if it was fair, I'd have been out. Like he was on it. I was like, I'm thinking it was a good bunt. It was like right on the line, just missed foul. I'm thinking I'm like halfway down the line. And they called the foul early. I'm like, dang, he got to that ball, but that's the difference. People got range now, you know what I mean? So it's not like like people are really good at their position. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest thing that you might not get all the time in college or in high school baseball. So definitely that. Like that's one thing I would definitely say is definitely that. But on like the hitting aspect, or if you're a hitter, the hitting aspect is definitely being sometimes you're not gonna get the pitch you want to get. Like most times you're not gonna get the pitch you want to get. In high school, I was a hardcore inside pitch hitter. You threw me an inside fastball, I was roping it somewhere, and that was my game plan. I didn't care about that outside pitch. I could hit it, but I wasn't focusing on that at all. But my whole first year in college, I didn't see an inside pitch at all. Like not one at all. So literally, I'm going up there every single at bat, looking for that inside pitch, wasn't getting it. Like the whole year, like it's not even like literally did not get one fastball inside the whole year. everything was away. And if it was inside, it was something breaking, something moving, a curveball inside, slider inside, change up, and something that you don't want to hit that's going to be inside. So another big thing is learning how to use other tools. You know what I mean? Like I said, I tried to put a bunt down early on in the season because I wasn't getting no inside pitches. Like I'm figuring like how I'm gonna get on base if I'm not hitting this inside pitch. You know what I mean? If they're not giving it to
outside
me.
Pitch.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. I was talking to my support system and everything. They were saying, dog, you gotta learn how to hit the outside pitch. Or like how you gonna, you know what I mean? You gotta work through this. Right. So they're not giving you an inside pitch. They only giving you outside. So what are you gonna do? My response to that was trying to put bunts down there. Right. But at the end of the day, as you go through college, that's the small things that you're gonna need to, like small adjustments that you're gonna need to make to better yourself and try and get you in a better line or better yourself in the depth chart and stuff like that. It's small adjustments because that's what I said. Like the inside pitches wasn't working, so I tried to put a bunt down. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. But yeah, small adjustments will definitely help you out throughout your college career.
Cool. So what advice would you give to the player watching right now on how they want to get to college level baseball? They in high school right now, maybe they in middle school, whatever. What would they do to get to that level? What should they do? What's the advice you give them?
Definitely just embrace the grind, man. Like it's not talk to pro level guys, talk to D1, D2, all the high level people. I got a good amount of people that I talk to and like know from just being in the sport and everything, but it all comes back to the grind, man. Like the reps that you gotta get. You know what I mean? There's no other way around. There's no secret to it. You just gotta get the reps in. Like you want to be better at fielding the ground ball, you have to field the ground ball 1,000 times. You know what I'm saying? It's the only way you're gonna get really better at it. There's no like small tricks that you could do. It's just simple stuff that you really have to master and understand that it's gonna be boring getting working. Like it's just what it is. It is what it is. It's especially as a baseball sport because it's a skill sport. You got to learn how to hit the ball well. And that means you got to hit the tee. You got to hit the tee all the time. You got to hit small pitch, like soft toss all the time, something moving. You got to just hit balls all the time. Like this is something that you got to do. That's something you could lose fast. So you got to keep doing it constantly to really hone in on what you want to do better. So that fielding wise, you got to field ground balls. You got to field fly balls. Really just embracing the grind. That's all I really would say is, man, like find a constant that you could do every single day and try and better yourself every single day. Because if at the end of the day, if you want to get better, it's you against you. If you're comparing yourself, you're already in the wrong because you don't know what they're getting in. You know what I mean? You don't know if they just, I don't know, whatever. You shouldn't be worried about what somebody else is doing.
Right.
When it pertains to your own success.
Right.
If you want to get better, you got to put this effort. You got to put the work in to get better on your own. So it's really just a question of yourself is, what am I going to do to get better? You know what I mean? And the simple answer is try and do something every single day to better yourself. And like I said, it's going to be tough, but you got to embrace the grind. You got to take the sacrifices needed to get better every day. So definitely just try and, like I said, embrace the grind. Do something every day, like hit off the tee or something like that. If you're a pitcher, find something that you can do every day to get better. Something. You got to find something, man. That's the only way you're really going to get better and really reach goals that you want to reach.
Right. Okay, good answer. So what's one thing that you did while in college that you didn't do in high school that helped you get your game better?
That's a good question. Definitely the use of a machine. Like, and even in college, I still had a problem with that my early years in college, but towards the end of it, junior and my senior year, I started using the hack machine more, like, you know, a machine that shoot out baseballs. Started using that more because that's the only thing that could really help you get better at seeing velocity. You know what I mean? You got to see velocity to hit velocity at a game. You're just the only way you're going to be able to get more comfortable with being able to hit it is just by constantly seeing something fast coming at you instead of just somebody soft tossing or hitting off the tee all the time, because that's just unrealistic. If you want to get better at hitting the ball this way or with speed, you got to constantly see a ball this way or something with speed. So definitely the use of a machine is the biggest thing I will say that could really help anybody out if you want to make it. Like, that's the one thing I will definitely say that I could have used earlier on in my career, even in high school, that could have projected me to different heights, but it is what it is. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be worried about it. It's just, I'm glad I learned it now instead of never learning it anyway. So that's why I'm telling you now, is to use a machine way more. It's going to be tough. It's going to be frustrating, but that's the only way you're going to get better. If it's easy all the time, you got to do something to make it harder, because how else you gonna get better? You can't get better by constantly being good at something. You gotta be bad at something to work at it to become better at it. So
good. Yeah, you said the word there. You can't be. I don't even remember exactly what you said, but you can't be good at something all the time and get better.
Yeah,
that's shit. That's good stuff right there. All right, so the adjustment on the college campus, like you move away, you've been having a great baseball career, you live at home, then you move out. What's that adjustment like? Like you literally living on campus, unless you happen to live home and go to school, which is rare, especially if you're going to school to play a sport. What's that like going away from home to play the sport and the adjustment that you needed to make while you were there?
Well, definitely, I would say this. When you are home, if you're still home now and you still watching this, like you want to go to college, learn how to be accountable on your own stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like hold yourself to an accountability standard that nobody else can, you know what I mean? Or nobody that needs to, like, if you got a support system, they shouldn't be telling you to go do something all the time. You should be wanting to do it all the time because that's the only way you're going to get better on your own. You know what I mean? You're not going to be, when you go off to college, they're not going to be with you all the time. They're not going to be calling you all the time. They might, but they're not gonna be with you every single day or every single moment of the day. So you gotta learn how to get it in on your own. Like you gotta learn how to do something, like I said before, on your own every day that you could do by yourself, that could better yourself. So I mean, yeah, just holding yourself accountable is the biggest thing that could really project you to do something better, is because nobody else is gonna tell you to do it. So you gotta be the one to tell yourself to do it. So that's the thing I would definitely say could help anybody out right now.
Good advice. Good advice. So, being on campus, you in the room, you going through your first year, and you having a slump or something. How you get through it? Like when you away from home, because I'm sure home dealing with a slump's probably a little bit easier. You got your close friends, you knew all your life, your family. But when you away at school, you in a slump. How do you get through it?
Well, I would just definitely try and say find a constant that you could do. Like I said before, literally, like I just said. Find a constant you can do every single day to get better, and that you can lean on that to like mentally ease yourself a little bit. Because when you're in the slump, it's more hard mentally than it is physically. Because physically, it's probably something small that you really can't you gotta mentally unlock it to get there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta mentally unlock yourself to get past the slump, and slumps is mentally draining. So the only way that could really like help that and find your confidence again, it's just by hitting every single day. Like in college, I literally, when I'm at school during the season, I try and hit off the tee every single day. And just because I still have that confidence in myself, I know it's not my mechanics that's off. It's just, all right, it's just something different. You know, maybe I'm looking at the inside pitch too much. Maybe I got to start looking at the outside pitch. Maybe getting my bat path a little, or making my bat stay in the zone a little bit long. You know what I mean? So that's the stuff you can look at when you have a constant every day, because mechanics is sound. You know what I'm saying? And another thing is definitely videoing yourself all the time. If you can't get game video, that's fine. But all your practice reps, you should at least video half of them, just because that's the ones you can see. If you could be more in tune with your swing if you see it all the time. You ain't gonna be able to see it if you you could feel it. Like, all right, it goes hand in hand. You need the video to see what you're doing, but you need the feel to like feel it out. But that's why the video and the feel work hand in hand, because if you're feeling something, but it looks different on video, you drop your hands, but you don't feel like you drop your hands. That's why you're in a slump. You know what I mean? So, but that only comes from hitting every day, because you can constantly work things out like that. It's not even just about like getting better at something every day. It's just making sure when I'm doing good, making sure I'm continuing to stay on that path of doing the same thing over and over again to keep me doing good. That's the biggest thing on keeping it constant. So, and it's kind of like a mental thing. Like I said before, keeping your confidence up. If you do something every single day, you really can't doubt yourself that much, because you do it every single day. So like, it's just better off for your mental sake. So you can go through that slump and like, all right, now I know I can get out of this because I'm literally practicing this every single day. It's just gonna come. It's a matter of time. So that's the biggest thing too with it. When you're dealing with a slump, it's just you gotta get the work in to work out of it. There's no other way around it. You gotta really work out of it or find ways to get on base to get yourself out of it. That's the biggest thing. But find a constant and doing it every single day so you can keep confident and work out of that slump.
Got you. All right. So coaching, like high school, you kind of just got to deal with your coach. And whoever your coach is, that's what it is, unless you change schools. But college, you know, that coach most likely recruited you.
Mm-hmm.
Explain the relationship with your coach after they recruit you and moving forward in your years.
Well, my experience was definitely different than the average just because I went to one school for 4 years and I had 3 different coaches in that same school.
College?
Yeah, and college, my bad.
So
college.
You in the mix, in the middle of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my freshman year, I had the coach that recruited me, and he's telling me, you know what I mean? He's telling me like the regular recruitment stuff, like, oh, this is when we're gonna have you like really looking to play. The juniors and seniors are gonna be going at this time, so this year you'll be like, that's the year, like that's why we got you in here for that year. And then like he gave me the full plan of like what my time at the school was gonna be for the most part.
Right.
So freshman year was fine, you know what I mean? I still like the plan was working. We was working through it, like having good conversation and everything about where I was at, where we was going to be projecting and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wasn't the coach anymore. So
after your freshman year?
After my freshman year, at the end of the season or the next season, he just wasn't the coach anymore.
Man.
So everything I built up with him, all the whole plan and stuff, is just out the window now because somebody else, he's just not the coach no more. So So mentally, that's like, man, that's a hard pill to swallow because you just got told somebody was there for you that whole time, and then they're just not there no more. So you got to do this whole thing over with somebody completely different that don't know nothing about you, that don't know your parents and nothing like that, and you got to work through it. So mentally, man, that's a lot to deal with, just because everything that you proved in a year before, you got to do the same thing over again because this is a whole new person. So it's more. I feel like it's more weight on your shoulders because you got to do good in order to get playing time. You know what I mean? Right. You can't rely on the stuff that you did last year because they just didn't see the stuff that you did last year. So, like,
and even if they look at the stats, it ain't the same as seeing it.
Exactly. Like, then the stats only say so much.
Right.
Because not for nothing, like my freshman year stats wasn't the best, but as a player and like as that year went, I still was fine. Like I think I had like 3 strikeouts and like a couple, or I forgot how many ABs I had, but the ABs where I got out, it wasn't like I was just striking out, rolling over and nothing. You know, I'm hitting balls well. Like, it was definitely, if you look at the stats and you seen what it was 2 completely different seasons. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. So
just looking at it like that, I'm like, all right, like I gotta prove myself, dog. You know what I mean? He's seen none of those balls seen none of those line outs to the center fielder and stuff like that. So I gotta show him this in the fall, like, and I need to do that in order for me to get this playing time I want in the springtime.
Right.
So that was that challenge, and then the next year I had a different coach, so it was like
3 years in a damn row.
I had to do the whole thing over again. You know what I mean? So my whole college career has always just been, I got to stay on the ground more. I cannot get complacent. I can't even think about the year prior to that, or the year after that. I have to stay in the present and focus on me getting better this year and producing. Not even just me getting better. I have to produce. You know what I mean? I have to produce in order to get on the field. Like,
right.
There's no other way around it. And especially, that's another big thing I would say, from high school to college, you got to produce, dog. Like, you could do all the training you want and everything. If you're just not hitting well in like scrimmages and stuff, they're not going to play because you're just not doing that well. You know what I mean? So
and the competition amongst your teammates is better.
Exactly. Like, you have to produce. Right. So all of that saying, after the year that I previously had, didn't see that year, didn't have that the next year, didn't have another coach the next year, it's like, it's mentally, it's a lot because you constantly, every fall, it's the same thing. Like, all right, dog, like, I have to continue to prove myself. Like, every practice, it's do or die. Because at the end of the day, I gotta beat the next guy. You know what I mean?
You gotta prove it in practice if you ain't getting in the game.
Exactly, and especially, and that's why it's tough in the fall, because all it is practice. You probably getting like a couple of scrimmages just because that's what you limited to. So the practices, you gotta go hard. Like, there's no other way around it.
Right.
So mentally, it's draining because it's a lot. Like, you gotta really stay locked in all the time. There's no real off days, and you can't be getting too complacent just because you don't have that year to fall back on. You know what I mean? So that's why I kind of appreciate that, though, because that constantly made me constantly get better. I didn't have room to be complacent because I had to prove myself all the time. So I do appreciate that on my own experience. And yeah, that was a lot. That was a lot.
Yeah. So how did you get through it? Like, all that, because, you know, in high school, you're probably not dealing with that same level of stress.
Adversity.
Adversity. Like, if you are, you probably dealing with it playing, but you know, you might be in a slump, but that's different. How'd you get through it?
So my freshman and sophomore year, I had, like I said, I always got a good support group. So they tremendously helped me out because I had people to talk to. You know what I mean? Like they understand. Like that's gonna be tough, dog. You know what I mean? Like you gotta work through it. You just gotta work through it. Like you really gotta constantly get reminded. Like, dog, I gotta earn my spot. There's no guarantees here, dog. You gotta constantly say. Like I used to write it on my like whiteboard. Like, dog, earn your spot, earn your spot, earn your spot. Every single day I would look at it because that's the only way you're gonna earn your spot. So mentally it's a lot, but you gotta stay locked in on that, though. You gotta be in a good mind state to just before you get into it. It's like you gotta change your mentality. It gotta be dog eat dog. You know what I mean? It really has to, because that's the only way you're gonna get better and get to where you want to get to. So that's the one thing I would definitely say help me tremendously and can help anybody else just going into college, whether you got a different coach or not, is you gotta like get that dog eat dog mentality.
You gotta be a dog,
You gotta be a dog, because that's the only way you're gonna beat somebody out. Because that's at the end of the day, that's what it's gonna be. You gotta be better than somebody else. And some people that's a tough pill to swallow, just because that may feel like it's a lot, but you gotta do it. It's either you're gonna do it or you're just gonna be sitting on the bench.
Right.
That's the choice you gotta make, and that's what you gotta tell yourself, because what do you really want to do? After that first game that I played where I was sitting on the bench and I was watching everybody play, I was like, I don't like this. Like, I don't want to do this, dog. You know what I mean? Like, so that's from that point on, it was like, all right, this is real. I don't want to do this no more. I have to beat the next person. So in the off season, that's where I really focus at. You know what I mean? That's the real focal point in the work. You gotta have that hard work ethic, because it's the only way you're gonna beat out somebody. So definitely developing that dog and really honing in on the work that you got to put in when nobody else is putting the work in.
Right. So how do you balance being that dog that's trying to, dog eat dog, you're trying to take the spot, but at the same time, having a good time with your teammates? Because I know a big part of college sports is the camaraderie amongst the team. Yeah. How do you balance that?
It's definitely tough. I will say that. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's not a hard task to.
It is a hard.
I mean, it is a hard task to do, but really come down to the team, man. You kind of gotta be like cool with your teammates. Like, not for nothing, the dude that started over me my freshman and sophomore year, that's my dog. You know what I mean? Like, I truly love that man. You know what I mean? But even though every practice I'm gonna take his spot, still I love that man. You know what I mean? But it's better if you get cool with the people around you, just because it'll be easier to work with them, just because y'all can work with each other. You know what I'm saying? Right. It's not even just like, oh, I don't like you because you're at my spot. It's like, all right, man, you're doing this thing right now, but when my time come, it'll be good for me. You know what I mean? And he'll be happy for me when my time does come. So that's what it really turned into, because of the relationship that I had with the person that was like starting over me. But if you don't have that relationship, then it's just, you got to be cordial, because at the end of the day, that's your teammates. You know what I mean? If you want to be good and you want the team to be good, you got to root for each other. Like, there's no other way around it. Like, that's just what it got to be. You got to put certain things aside. Like, it's been times where I had to put certain things aside, or I had to talk to that man like, dog, man, it sucks. You know what I mean? I want to be starting, but you playing my spot, and we had to have that conversation. You know what I mean? But I had a good relationship with all the people around me, just because we was good people and everything. So it worked out nicely. But yeah, man, I mean, it's just tough sometimes, like
that's maturity though.
Yeah,
you probably can't do that in high school.
Yeah,
but I can't see a high school junior going up, hey man, I want your spot, but I'm, like that's a hard conversation.
It is though, but it all comes back down to like how well you are, or how cool y'all are as friends at the end of the day.
Right.
Because I mean, there's been a couple of people that on the team where I was like, all right, or not in my, like I said, all the people that was over me, I really liked them and everything. It was just love, you know what I mean? So I wanted them to do well, but I wanted my own spot. So it's really just staying ready, honestly. That's the best. I would say that, staying ready, because anything can happen. Like, not for nothing, one of the games that I had to get thrown into because one of the dudes got hurt, but I was ready to go. They was happy for me because I got my opportunity, and I didn't take advantage. And I took advantage of it. So that's all it is, man. It's the putting the work in, constantly trying to get better. Don't be getting so mad at yourself or mad at the coach or anything like that, because at the end of the day, if you get better, they're going to have to play you anyway. So that's what you got to really focus on as you go. And just try and really get better on your own. You know what I mean? Focus on your own stuff. Don't try and compare yourself. Like I said, like comparing yourself is the worst thing that you can do because that's not helping you. It's only putting negative thoughts in your own head. So don't try and compare yourself and constantly try and get better. Like use every practice as an opportunity to get better.
Right. So what's it like being on a team, like a college team? Like, is that it seemed like it's fun. Like, I don't know, you can expound on it more because you live in it, but what's it like being on a college, a D3 team and going through that whole process?
Well, in middle school, sophomore year, that's what it was. Sophomore year, after I had the JV year, and I was like, all right, I gotta look into college now. I started watching the YouTubers and stuff like that and having like days in the life of like a college athlete. And it looks fun. I'm like, dog, this is like they playing Fortnite every day. Like they pretty much with the team all the time. They in the locker room chilling. I think that look cool. Like I want to do that. You know what I mean? That looks fun. Like I really want to be in a group of guys that's just all like cool with each other. And that's exactly what that expectation that I had going into college was exactly what it was for the most part. Like, because I would say that at least in baseball, because you got to be with each other all the time. Like, since it's a spring sport, you got all the fall to you have a fall season and you got to go through the whole fall in order to get to the spring. So you're going to have to be with them for 8 months out the year. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a long time where you're going to have to be with the same amount of people or the same people. So it'd be fun, man. You know, like it all depends on the group that you're in and, you know, like how well you mesh with the guys and stuff like that. Right. But if you got a good group, man, greatest time I've ever had. Like I cherish every moment that I have with all my teammates. You know what I mean? Like it's a great time. I really cannot, like I'm in break right now and I really cannot wait to get back to school just to go to workouts in the morning. You know what I mean? Because it'd be, like I said, we spent a lot of time together, man. Like 6 a.m. And our fall season was 6 a.m. lift 3 days a week, practice 4 times a week, and then so that's 7 days out of the week we with each other. And those practice days and lift days was different. So we literally would be with each other for 7 days out of the week. So you with the same guys for 7 days out of the week, you gonna get cool just by nature. Right. Like just because you with them all the time. Like it's not many other people or many other groups of people that stay with each other all the time.
True. So you ain't seeing them 7 days. Even if you work with people, you got a couple days off and you ain't spending it with a big group.
Exactly. And since y'all all live on the same campus, y'all gonna be messing well with each other just because y'all gonna be seeing each other all the time. So
right. That's dope.
Definitely that, man. It's truly a great time. I'm really enjoying myself. You know what I mean? Like I really love it. I love the guys. I love them all. Like I always talk to them. You know what I mean? Like it's just good. They really are my friends. Like
that's fine.
It's nice.
That's fine. So do you think that's different than like, do you think D1, because you have friends that are D1. Mm-hmm. Is it similar?
I would say this. Definitely it depends. Or D1, all the different divisions, they have like certain rules that you have to follow where D1 you can spend a lot of time together just because first off, it's a bigger season in the springtime. You got like a 60-game season. So you're gonna have more time just because you got 20 extra games. And then like each level is different regulations where you can spend more time together. But in D3 at least, we still got a good amount of time we can spend together. So I think for the most part, all the people that I talk to, it's all been the same for the most part. Like, we obviously spend a lot of time together just because, like I said, those same regiments and stuff, it's pretty much anywhere you go. Any college is gonna be going through that same stuff for the most part. You're gonna have workouts and stuff like practices a 5 times a week or something like that. So you're gonna spend a lot of time together, and it just depends on the group that you're with. You know, like even my teammates now that transferred in from like JUCOs and stuff or junior colleges and different schools and stuff, it's all been the same thing for the most part. It's just how well you mesh with the guys, but it's always gonna be a group of guys that you can mesh with just because you're gonna be with each other all the time. Like whether you want to be or not, that's just what it's gonna have to be. Whether you're cool with them or not, you're gonna get cool at some point just because you're with them all the time.
Right. Even if the cats you don't like, you're going to end up getting cool.
Exactly.
Y'all always together.
Literally. So that's how it is anywhere you're going to go.
Cool. So, a couple more questions. This one's for like parents. Like if a parent is watching this and they want to help their child. They child loves baseball. They into it, and they say they want to get to the college level of baseball. What advice would you give that parent? How to go about parenting and supporting that child?
Yeah, definitely be there for them though. Like I said, I mentioned before, embracing the grind. It's gonna be a grind, dog. You're gonna have to take sacrifices that you and your son or daughter is gonna have to take to get to the next level. Like that's just what's gonna have to be. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be times where you're gonna be, I don't really want to do this, but I gotta do it for him or do it for her because they want to get to where they want to get to. And it's gonna be the same vice versa for the player or for the kid on the parent side. So you're gonna take a sacrifice. It's gonna be a lot, but definitely just be there for them, dog. Like my support group, they've seen me at my lows, they see me at my highs. Like there's been times where I've been in slumps and I've been crying to them like, I don't know what else I gotta do. I'm getting working every single day. Like this sucks. I don't know what to do. And they're just there for me. You know what I mean? Like supporting, like it's gonna come, bro. You gotta keep putting it in. Don't doubt yourself. You know, giving me positive reinforcement because that's the one thing I will say. You gotta stay positive as a supporter because especially in baseball, it's a hard sport, dog. You literally 3 times out of 10, if you're doing that, if you're hitting the ball 3 times out of 10, you're doing great. You know what I mean? So you're meant to fail at some point, at most points, I should say. So being a positive reinforcer is the biggest thing that you could do. But not only just being a positive reinforcer, being a realist too. If they're not doing good and you know they're not doing good and they're not really putting work in to be better, you gotta tell them that. Like you can't just be like, they can't be starting to get delusional just because they're not getting the work in and they mad at themselves for not doing good. Like you gotta let them know, like, dog, the only way you're gonna get better is by making sacrifices to do more work. You know what I mean? So you gotta being honest and being positive is the 2 things I would definitely say that could help anybody out anywhere at any point of their journey for the most part. So if you're a parent, they're young, start trying to get them to work harder, you know what I mean, get that work ethic instilled in them, and then be there for them. Once they got it and they could do it on their own, or you could do it with them, that's where you're on a roll right there. If you got them to really work on the stuff on their own and then you helping them too and they really like y'all doing this together, that's when you're in a good spot. And then from that point, you start being really honest with them and telling them where they actually at or how they can really get better, and then just being positive about it. So don't they already got to deal with a lot of negative stuff just from like their own negative self-talk. And like I said, it's a failure sport. So nobody wants to hear that. You know what I mean? It's already going to be like, it's bad enough that they're saying it to themselves. They need somebody else to give them something positive so they can, rework it in their head. Because it's a mindset at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's a lot to deal with, but it's going to be a lot of sacrifices to deal with. But you got to be positive in those times where the highs and the lows, because as we're going to keep them going, So definitely be positive, work hard, and just be there for them. Be a support system that can really help them get to where they want to get to.
Right. And last question, what advice would you give just anybody looking at going to any athlete looking to go to a D3 school? Somebody that's like, what should they look for? What should they do? What should they look for? Because, you said you had a small school, but there are some huge D3s.
It's a wide range.
Right. So give that advice on what they should look for and, depending on who they are, but give me advice on what you looked for and why you looked for it.
Well, depending on the division and everything, but D3 is especially focused on academics because you don't get any athletic money for going to D3. Like you get no athletic scholarships, nothing like that. So making sure your grades is straight is a big thing that you need to focus on before you get anywhere in the college search, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to keep you in college. You know what I mean?
Right.
So definitely focusing on that, making sure your stuff is good, making sure you can get into the school. If you can't get into the school, you shouldn't be looking to go there, because if the coaches is messing with you and everything and they want you to be there, but you just can't get into the school, like the SAT scores is not good enough, you got to write them off the list. You know what I mean? Unless you got to be real with yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you don't want to, I don't know. I looked at it like I didn't want to overshoot my academics and stuff because I was going to have to live up to that because I was going to be there for the next 4 years. You know what I mean? I didn't want to overshoot too much because I had to make sure I was going to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? Especially, and then on top of that, with all the other athletic stuff, like that's not even getting into any athletics. That's just basically off of academics alone.
Right.
So making sure a school is right academically for you is a huge thing that you really got to focus in on, because especially if you want to be an athlete, because it's going to be a way more workload on the athletic side than it's ever been anywhere else. So making sure that's a comfortable setting. And then depending on who you are as a person, I wanted to go to like a community field school. I wanted to like be able to talk to my teachers and stuff like that one-on-one. They know my name, I know their name.
Where the school feel like a community.
Exactly. That's what I wanted, a real community feel on my part. So that's why I was looking in the smaller schools. And then, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I really was looking into. Everything else was kind of like, all right, if it happens, it happens. Like, obviously, not a lot. The last thing I was looking into was the baseball aspect. If the coach was like really, if we had a good relationship and he really wanted me to go there, that's where I was going to go. Whatever coach wanted me the most was where I was going to go, because at the end of the day, they got to make the lineup. You know what I mean? If the coach is cool with me, that can work out. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
so,
right.
Like, literally, like, you know what I mean? So those are my three things: the community, the baseball aspect, and the academic side of where I was staying at. And I mean, that changes on each person, but you got to find your own three, or you don't got to find your own three, but find some basics that you can list off of every college that you look at. So you go write ones off the list, because there's so many colleges out there, dog. Like, if you feel like you can don't get so caught up in the one college you want to go to so bad, because there's so many more that's literally just could fit your whole aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really can make, there's a college for you out there, and I'm positive there's a college for you out there. If you're an athlete, go to the college that the coach wants you the most, because at the end of the day, like I said, the coach wants you the most. They're going to give you a better shot to get playing time more. So,
but still have that work ethic, because like him,
yes.
You went to the college that the coach wanted you the most. But
very true.
It could be a coaching change.
Literally,
right.
But definitely, like you said, use that work ethic is huge. But if you have a good support system, like I was talking about before, you'll already have that instilled anyway. So you'll be ready to go, locked in, ready to get all into the good stuff. But back to the college stuff is finding your big three and knowing that it's a school out there for you. So yeah, every school is not gonna be for you. It's just gonna be, it might be tough, but you gotta really look for it. So be open to all options. I would say that.
All right, man. This has been our conversation on D3 baseball. Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me,
man. Anytime, man. So for y'all out there, if y'all had questions, if y'all was looking, throw them in the comments. I'll try to get them answered by this man. If not this man, well, I'll get him answered by this man. Even if he don't come back, I'll read the emails or whatever. Get exactly what he said back to y'all. But I mean, thank you, man. I think that was a lot of insight, man. Like it's good, man. Like I hope people out there that's watched and listened got an opportunity to get some information. Parents and student athletes, best of luck to y'all. And we'll see y'all soon, man. I'll see y'all soon, man. Just bringing these combos to you, man.
Yes.
We're ending the live. What? Oh, it was 48 minutes. Yeah, live. Oh, I'm still live. Oh, shit. There we go. Stop streaming.